Welcome back to MTGO Legacy Event number 3, Rock vs. Mud. These are the reviews. This hand is perfectly fine. We have a first turn of choice. We either can go get Green Sun Zenith for Bird of Paradise, which seems terrible, Dried Arbor, which seems terrible. We can waste our opponent and play Zenith for 0. Like, we have options here. The better option and the reason why we're keeping this hand is because we have a first turn Sylvan Library. Card selection, very important. I'm going to do something different for this game. I'm just going to let it play and talk over it and point out things as I see them this way. When I was reviewing it, I was exhausted at this point and decided that I was done looking at video. So you got a little bit of half-assery at this point. His diamonds are the reason why I don't worry about him trying to stop our diamonds. Another thing about our hand is that it's very, very good against Blood Moon. Something that a lot of the mud decks used to have in their boards, but not so much. In this case, we have a choice between Stoneforge Mystic and basically Sylvan Library. And the reason why we're taking the library, why we should be taking the library, please tell me we take the library. I believe we take the library. The reason why we're taking the library first is for the fact that there's nothing else that we can do. Like, we can waste our opponent next turn. We don't want to put an artifact into the yard. We can go put in the Jit or the Batterskull. Most likely the Jit. The only thing that we're really worried about in this scenario right now is the 2 Goblin Welders. Like, there's a Juggernaut on the table and we don't really care. So having the card selection a lot better than it actually looks. That being said, there's a Pulse. Love to be able to pulse them, but unfortunately we can't this turn. Whatever we do actually do, we have to pay 3 mana for, unfortunately. That being said, Goyf is a 1-2, completely irrelevant. Will become better later on, but unfortunately Goyf is not the best thing that we could have right now. So that's why that goes away. We already have a Stoneforge Mystic, so we're not too worried about that. Our opponent's lands, it being a City of Traders, means that it'll die if he does anything, obviously. But what it really means for us, as far as things go, is that he'll be limited in his mana. Like, if he plays another City of Traders and drops a Wormcoil Engine, yeah, it's not as good. But, I mean, that's not always the case. Our opponent makes a misplay here, and that's that our opponent doesn't wasteland us. Wastelanding us, yes, it sets him back to 5 mana, but he's got no cards in hand. He's got no real reason to not wasteland us. Deed, something that we can definitely look into, but not exactly something that we're all too interested in doing. If we deed for 4, we end up losing a lot of our ability to stay in this game. So, basically killing off all but one of our mana, killing all of his board and one of our mana. There we go. This play allows us to guarantee kill the 2 Goblin Welders. So I would definitely pick this one over and over and over again. Next turn we have the Pulse. We can attack again or hold back again next turn as need be. Now, this play is entirely questionable. Like, granted, our job right now is to actually get rid of the Goblin Welders, and I think that the better option on his side would have been to just double block with the Welders. I'm going after them. I want the Goblin Welders. Why stunt your mana base? Just let me keep a single counter on Jit, which isn't going to be very helpful against your Lodestone Golem. Keep your mana and be able to actually play this game. I guess he was hoping that I wouldn't kill his Welders, but giving him access to Welders with double or with Monolith seems stupid. Especially when you're swapping them so you have an in-out, so that's 6 mana that your Monolith is producing, as well as a, by the way, there's another Liliana, and we're so far ahead at this point that we can take this damage. Like, his board literally is screaming for us to murder his face. On top of that, Windswept Heath gets Dried Arbor, which means that Jit is active next turn no matter what, barring him drawing a Wasteland, which he's not going to waste us. He's only got 4 mana. But what I was saying about that And I'm going to pause here so that I can talk a little bit longer. We're almost at the end of that video. I'm going to get this off of there. Ugh. So he'd have his mana. We'd have a counter on Jit. He didn't have a play. I mean, there's nothing to say that the land that he had or the card that he has in hand, or the two cards that he has in hand, that they aren't things that would just completely blow me out. But unfortunately for him, he decided to screw that over. Um, what is it? The monolith thing that I was talking about. So he taps his monolith. He swaps out the monolith for an artifact in the yard, and then brings it back. So preferably, I mean, he could tap his Great Furnace for a mana, waste it, swap it with the monolith, tap it again, swap it back for the monolith, and essentially getting the mana from the wasteland and 6 mana off of the monolith itself. That seems horrible for me to allow him to do that. So why he would assume that I would allow the welders to live, I don't know. But doing that was ridiculously bad. I mean, why on earth would you do that? If Rolled, if you're watching, I would love for an explanation on what was going through your head, if you remember. It's been about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks since this game actually occurred, so yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little slow on my upload this week. Um, Hopefully the next one should be up here shortly. Unfortunately, the servers are down right now while I'm recording this one, so yeah, let you know. Wednesdays. Gotcha. Gonna continue playing here. This game is pretty much over. The only thing that he could hope to do would be, oh god, I don't know. I guess he could key and Greaves and no, that doesn't do it. Um, yeah, this turn we equipped the Jit. We would have pulsed the monolith if we could. I have to rewind just a little bit to see if we could. No, we could not have. So yeah, he cuts it during our end step, so we don't even get to see what library would have drawn for us. Probably should have looked, and this is, as I was saying, a match that's completely great for us, so not too much to add here. I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and we'll go to the next one.